The first thing you'd notice wouldn't be the shine of their swords or the weight of their shields. It would be the sound. A rhythmic, metallic clack-clack-clack echoing off the stone roads like a localized thunderstorm. That sound came from their feet, or more accurately, from 100 iron studs hammered into the soles of their sandals. Why did they reject the heavy boots we associate with soldiers today? The answer isn't that they lacked better ideas. The answer is that the Caligae were a piece of high-performance biological engineering that allowed a human being to become a walking machine. Today, we're dissecting the engine of the Roman Empire. He was a professional walker. On an average campaign, a legionary marched 20 miles a day, sometimes 30 in a forced march. And he wasn't traveling light. He carried a 60-pound pack, including armor, tools, and food. Imagine hiking from New York to Philadelphia, but doing it every few days for 20 years, all while wearing a bronze vest. In this environment, your feet are your most critical piece of equipment. If they fail, the army stops. If the army stops, the empire falls. But in the sweltering heat of the Mediterranean or the damp forests of Germania, a closed boot is a death trap. Without modern moisture-wicking socks, sweat builds up instantly. Wet skin softens. Friction creates blisters. In the Roman era, a blister wasn't just an annoyance, it was a gateway for infection. The Caligae solved this with an open skeleton design. It allowed air to circulate, keeping the foot dry and the skin tough. It was the ancient version of high-end athletic cooling technology. The real magic of the Caligae was underneath. The sole was made of multiple layers of cowhide, reinforced with 80 to 100 iron hobnails. These weren't just for grip, they were the world's first modular maintenance system. When the studs wore out, a soldier didn't need a new pair of shoes. He just hammered in new nails. This meant a Roman army could stay on the move for months without needing a massive resupply of footwear, a logistical advantage. But their barbarian enemies, the hobnails served a darker purpose: intimidation. Imagine being a rebel in a quiet village. You hear it before you see it. It created a low-frequency vibration you could feel in your chest. It told the world that civilization had arrived, and it was made of iron. This was the audio branding of the Roman Empire, even the name of the emperor in the frozen north of Britain. Archaeologists have found evidence that soldiers simply stuffed their Caligae with wool or wore inner leather socks, whether climbing the Alps or crossing the Syrian desert. The Caligae provided the same consistent grip and durability. The Roman Caligae remind us that history isn't just made by great speeches or brilliant generals. It's made by the people who can walk the farthest without collapsing. They won because they optimized the smallest details of a soldier's life. So, the next time you put on a pair of high-tech running shoes, remember that 2,000 years ago, a man in leather straps and iron nails was using the same principles to build the greatest empire the world had ever seen. Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see the terrifying traps these soldiers built once they arrived at the battlefield, check out our video on the hidden death of Roman fortifications.